All right, last page of the Unit 1 practice test. This is questions 13 through 18. So we're almost done. All right, number 13. What is the solution to this question? This equation. So there's my equation. Okay. And all I have to do is solve, right? So no parentheses, no distribution. But here's my equal sign, right? I have 9w minus w on the same side, so I can combine like terms. And remember, if there's no number, it's a 1. So I have 9 minus 1. Well, that's easy, that's 8. None of this changes. And then my last step is divide. Okay, so I have w equals negative 40 divided by 8, negative 5. So I'm going to come up here, w equals negative 5. Hey, that was pretty easy. I like that one. Very simple, straight to the point. Number 14. Okay, this is another literal equation, so you have 2 on the test. Okay. So on this one, it says solve for b. Well, here is b, which means I need to move to h, and I need to move this negative out the way. All right? So again, I always start with the other side. So let's have 7p. And then it's a 2h, right? There's no negative, so because it's positive, over here it'll be minus 2h. So that gets rid of that. And then if I have a negative sign that I'm trying to get rid of, like it's just negative b, there's no number. I mean, it's a 1, right? But there's no number. I have a negative. The easiest way to get rid of the negative at the end is just make that a positive and then change all of these. Okay? So again, that negative becomes a plus, and then this positive 7p becomes minus, and this minus 2h becomes plus. So you flip all the signs. Everything just flips. It just does the opposite. Okay? From here, I just do equals b. That's my answer. Okay? Here, if I need to, because if that went too fast, let's pretend I have negative b equals 7p minus 2h, right? That's what I had. So again, here's my negative b. I don't want a negative b, I want positive. So to get rid of the negative, I just do plus, minus, plus. Everything just flips. Okay? That's it. That's my answer. And again, the order doesn't matter. It can be 2h, like you can rewrite it as 2h minus 7p equals, that's the same thing. Okay? So remember, if this is multiple choice, check both ways if you have to. If you don't see this answer, look for this one. One of those has to be there. Okay, so up here, I'm just going to write the first one. So minus 7p plus 2h. All right, so 2 steps, not too bad. It's just making sure you know what to do when you have a negative at the end, right? It just flips all the signs. Okay, 15. What value of r makes the equation this true, right? So another way of just saying solve for r, right? So looking at this, I have no parentheses, so I can't distribute. Here's my equal sign, right? I have no terms, I can't combine like terms. So I'm just going to jump straight to moving all the letters to one side, which I only have one letter, so that's done. Which means I move my numbers to the other side. So I'm going to do minus 13. I don't know if that's easy to see, so I'm going to change colors. Here we go. Minus 13. So here's my equal sign, right? So I'm going to subtract 13 from both sides. 25 minus 13 is 12. Bring this down. Okay. And then my final step is I divide by this fraction. Okay. And again, you can type this right in the calculator. I'm going to show you what it looks like. if it'll focus. Oh my, almost. Okay. So I'm going to start with, you always start with the number on the other side, divided by the number with the letter. So divided by negative. And if you don't remember fractions, it's alpha y equals enter. So I got my nice little fraction there. And then you just type in 1/4. Don't forget the negative, right? So I have negative in the front. 12 divided by negative 1/4. And that's my answer. Oop, in the glare. So I get negative 48 equals R. Okay. So I'm going to write that up here. And that's 15. So look, it might look hard or difficult or confusing, but it's only 2 steps. I subtracted a number and then I divided by a fraction. Okay. So most of these aren't too bad. Again, these are like the hardest kinds of questions you'll see on the test. That looks just like you see it now. Nothing has changed except for numbers. Okay. So graph the inequality. That's what I want to graph. Now, I gave you a number line on this one just so you can practice putting it in the right spot. Okay, so I have -8, so I go to -8. So looking at this symbol, it is not underlined, which means I have an open circle. And because it's less than, right? H is less than goes left. And that's my answer. That's all I gotta do there. If I had to guess, that one's probably another, multiple choice question. So you're just picking the right graph on that one. All right, 17, what is the solution to, or in other words, solve? That's all it is. So I'm going to solve this. Okay. I have parentheses on both sides, so I have to distribute on both sides. And look, I have a fraction, but I promise, hint, hint, that if I multiply the fraction by these numbers, the fraction will go away. So let's do that. I have 1/4 times 16x is 4x. 1/4 times 8 is 2. Look at that. No more fractions. And then over here I multiply -2 times 3x minus 6x. -2 times -41. 2 negatives make a positive. 2 times 41 is 82. All right. So here's my equal sign. I have no like terms to combine on either side. So I move my x's to the same side, move my numbers to the other, and then I can divide. So between 4 and -6, the -6 is definitely smaller. And negative becomes positive because I'm moving it. So I have 4x plus 6x. We get 10x. Bring down the 2 equals, bring down the 82. Okay. All my x's are on the same side, so now I need to move my numbers to the other side. Some of y'all might go, oh, I know the answer. That's good. I'm glad you do. 82 minus 2, 80. And then my last step is divide. Okay. So I get x equals 80 divided by 10 is 8. I'm going to go write it up here. Okay. And guess what, y'all? In case you were wondering, we are on the final question, 18. And there are 18 questions on the test. And they're in this exact order. And this is exactly how they'll look. Just different numbers, maybe different letters. But the level of difficulty is this practice test. It doesn't get harder than this, so it's not more difficult. I wouldn't say it's necessarily easier either. Like, this is what it's going to be. So on some of these questions, if I only had 2 steps, I bet on the test, you're going to have 2 steps. If I have, like this one right here, I distribute both sides, move x, move number, divide, guess what? I'm probably going to do the exact same steps on that same question. It's just different numbers. But I'm on the last question, so let's celebrate. Woo. And I want to graph this inequality. Notice my x, or my letter, whatever letter it gives you, is on the right. Okay? Now again, if you don't need to do this, don't. But if you are unsure or hesitate or doubt yourself and think you might get it wrong, I would always, always, always mirror this. So I have x greater than or equal to 14. So if you have to, always do it. That way you never get it wrong, because then you could always graph the same way. All right, so I have 14. Here is 14 right here. My sign is underlined on this one. Underline means closed circle. And see how it's greater than? That means it's going to the right. Okay? And, oh, that's it. That's my answer. Okay, that's probably a multiple choice one, so you're just choosing the right one. But again, if you see the letter on the right, if you always mirror it to the other way, then you can just follow the direction that your inequality points. So see how it's looking like it's pointing to the right, right? Like if I go on here and I pretend this is an arrow, it's pointing to the right. Oh, look at that. It matches up. But if it's X is on the right, then it's not. It's backwards. So be careful with that one. This is the practice test, which is kind of almost the test. Just again, all math is the same problem with different numbers. So if you need extra help, please let me know. Hopefully this has helped you if you've watched all of this. Or even if you just did a few and you watched a few just to kind of understand a couple, that's great. Whatever you need. Remember, you had a review. If you haven't done that, please go do that one too. You just finished this, or if you're going backwards, whatever. So yeah, hopefully you do well on the test. And that is the end of this video.